Good evening, the selection team. Today I will explain my presentation about the project I have been working on. My name is Michael Surya. I am a student at UDINUS University, majoring in informatic engineering, class of 2022. Why I have to apply to the career is because I want to implement the machine learning to the system project because I already have a little bit as a software developer and interest in the machine learning. Like this, I hope to create smarter system project using machine learning. This is the what I want to explain in my presentation today, which the content are overall, tech stack, background, goals, technical problem, and the solution. Next, here I would like to introduce the alumni project, which is the project I work on during my internship. This project was done by a team of three people, including two developers and one supervisor. In this project, my role is full stack developer, where I handle development from the front end to the back end, from interface design, data processing, to API integration. This is the text I use while developing the Alumni project. For the back end, I use Laravel and PHP, Vue.js as the front end. This framework allows us to create interactive and responsive web page. Docker for application testing. Docker is used to test application in an isolated environment. Tailwind for style support. We use Tailwind CSS to speed up interface design creation. And MySQL for database. Data is stored in MySQL, a fast and reliable relational database. And some library that provide components to help me easier developing the front end. I created this alumni project with the main goal of strengthening the bond between alumni and the campus. Many campuses often lost the track of their alumni after they graduate, even though alumni are an important part of the campus community that can have a positive impact on both the campus and the current student. Through this project, I hope that alumni will stay connected to the campus and not hesitate to provide information about what they are doing after graduation. This data is invaluable for understanding how graduates fit into the workforce and what field they are working in. It also helps the campus to assess the relevance of the curriculum, provide whether it matches the need of the industry. Finally, data on companies that alumni have applied to is also useful for UDINUS. While develop the application, I also meet some technical problems that may difficult to face. The first is how to maintain relationship with alumni. One of the goals of this application is to get study data after graduation. For that, maintaining relationship with alumni may not be considered an important, so that they want to provide their current data after graduation. The application of efficient method is needed to help them stay connected with us. Test the application. Ensure that the web application works as expected, free from bugs, and provide a good user experience. This process involves different type of testing. The goal is to make sure the app is ready to use before it is released to the public. Create interactive UI. It makes user feel comfortable while browsing the app. Interactive UI also makes the app feel more alive and interesting. And the last, custom out only alumni. Not everyone can authenticate as an alumni. So, authentication customization is needed to find out whether he is an alumni of UDINUS or not. Then we go to the solution for the technical problem of the first. That is how to maintain the relationship. There are many ways to foster the relationship, one of which is by communicating regularly. For example, we can send periodic email to alumni to stay connected. By doing so, it is hoped that they will be more open to share their career information. This is the flowchart. We'll explain how send email to each alumni. It's already registered in the local database in interval time. The first, start the process. Laravel start calculating the interval time needed to perform an action. Then we go to the next process, reach time. Check if has reached the set time interval. We can predefine it by daily, monthly, or yearly. If so, it will move to the next process. Otherwise, it will return to the calculated time interval. In the get alumni process, Laravel start a data request to get data on all email alumni will be in the target. Then, Laravel will prepare the content in the email that contains information to be addressed for the recipient. Now the content is prepared. Laravel will send to every alumni email. Process end. Luckily, Laravel provides a library that allows us to run automatic action at set time interval, so we don't have to do it manually or make it from scratch. Next, after the reaching specified time interval, Laravel will retrieve all available alumni data and repeat the email sending process for each alumni. After that, we compose an email that includes the subject, header, and other necessary detail as needed. This source code shows a simple design to test email delivery, which the result is will match the content and subject that we previously created in the source code. By sending emails, there are also pros and cons as follow. The pros are automatic and consistent. Laravel has a feature to run automatic tasks at a certain time, so sending emails can be done by Laravel without the need to do it manually. Next is low cost. Sending email is a relatively inexpensive way compared to other methods, such as holding technical events. Easy update alumni data by including form or link that allows alumni to update their data directly. Where the cons are risk of spam, periodic email, run the risk of being perceived as spam by alumni, especially if they are too frequent or irrelevant, resulting in unreadable email and missed communication goals. Dependence on alumni email. If alumni contact data is not regularly updated, many email may not arrive or be read, especially if alumni have changed email addresses. We go to the next technical problem that is the testing alumni. I use Docker to ensure a stable and consistent environment. In order to the alumni system to run in an isolated environment, we need to determine the number of containers required. In this project, three containers are needed, one for the PHP running Laravel and the web server to make the site locally accessible, one for MySQL as data storage, and another, but this is optional, for PHP admin container as the MySQL database visualization interface. All these containers are put together in one multi-container called Alumni container. In the process of creating it, I divided into two files. The first file is used to set up the PHP image and web server image to one container, and copy the alumni project into the Docker environment, while the second file server bring all the necessary container together. by installing two additional containers that are MySQL and PHP admin. This division makes it easier to manage and ensure that each part functions properly. Once done, I run Docker Composition to install all the required containers in one environment. The result is three main containers: an alumni container consisting of two images, PHP and web server, a MySQL container, and a PHP MyAdmin container. This process ensures that all components were integrated and ready to use. With this setup, I can access the isolated alumni project and also ready to run on other device if stakeholder want to try out the container. Next, we go to the Grid Interactive UI. I took two features of application development on the front-end side to explain it. First, ensuring the page doesn't reload when sending or receiving data resource. So that the user experience is smoother in the process it need library that provided from Vue.js to create when request data. Vue.js provide the library so that when the user requests data, the script will work asynchronously and with the proper processing. We can also see the result of input by retrieving from the database right after inputting. In the second part, after the user has successfully logging in, the system will check if they have an email registered in the local alumni database. This email will later be used as the recipient address of the message. If there is no register before the login page is rendered, the system will display a warning for the user to immediately fill their email as soon as possible. In the flowchart, the session starts after the user logging in. When the path page is about to render Laravel, Laravel will check first whether the authenticated user has registered his email or not. If not, then the Laravel send a warning in the form of information to fill user email. If yes, it doesn't have any action and will go to the end process. Next, we go to the last technical problem, that is custom out only alumni. To automatically confirm whether a user is registered as an alumni, we need data containing alumni information. With that data, we can match the user input based on certain parameter to ensure a match. To be more efficient, instead of copying a whole of data, it's better to retrieve the relevant data using API that contains alumni which related to name. This approach not only saves storage, but also lightens the overall performance of the alumni project. In the flowchart, the alumni authentication is when we go to registration page, it will take the form input and check whether he is alumni or not. If yes, it will get the secret page. If not, it will back to the registration page. The authentication process does look simple, but to check whether he is an alumni require another flowchart. This is done as not to confuse the developer. The process starts, the system receives data form filled by user, usually containing information such as name or either Indonesian nomor induk, mahasiswa, and password. The system extract the name from the form data and then send it to the local database. We check it in the local alumni database. If they are data that related to the name, if yes, it will get only the password and match it and go to the next process. If no, it will go to the alumni API data UDINUS and get the data related to the name. It will get only one data, and then we get a default password pattern. We can use a birth of death, name, or resident. This is predefined by us. In the get from data, it also with the get password and match it. If the user has data in the local alumni database, it will match it to the get password. But if the user hasn't registered in the alumni, it will get from the alumni API data UDINUS and the match it with the default password pattern. If matched, it will get sent through, which means it will go to secret page. If not, it will send false. Let's go back to the registration process. The process ends. In the source code, once the data is obtained, we break it down and extract the necessary information. Then the data is matched according to the specific criteria. If there is not a match, the system will send an error message. We successfully created a login form with custom authentication. This form used Laravel to retrieve certain data field by the user, then send a request to the API. If the API responds, the user simply enter a default password, such as date of birth, full name, predefined by us. If the password doesn't match, it will throw the error. By the image, it will say, kamu udah daftar. Thank you for your attention and time watch video by me. I hope this presentation is useful for Garuda S selection. Thank you very much and good evening. Bye.